Hello, everybody. Welcome to the RSN Wrestling Podcast. This is the Mastermind, the F in RSN Wrestling Podcast. This is our shoot edition. On the other line, we got Rich, the big guy.
What's up, guys? So, what time is the pay-per-view? This is Money in the Bank season, right?
I don't know. I wouldn't say. I mean, we haven't done a podcast.
It's been quite a while. The last one was what, Mania, right?
Yeah, it's Mania, so we haven't done anything pre. I guess this is post and pre. I guess the shakeup and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff's been happening. But I think one thing we can say is that there's always right, and it's in the form of a certain website, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And we're talking, of course, about something, of course, we're a three-man group right here. So this is not just me and Rich. We also got another co-owner of the RSN Wrestling Podcast, Nick, who runs the show. The Nick Lopez. This is Nick Lopez of PWO, Pro Wrestling Opinion. He runs his own website. Basically what it is, it's not just any website. It's basically just going ahead and going through all the things going on in wrestling.
Wrestling website.
A minute. This is the kind of stuff you watch. You be reading the freaking articles and stuff like that in class.
Johnson.
Yeah, I was talking. Yep. This isn't one of these bullshit former writers that complain about ratings and stuff. No. This is just, like I said, especially now in the era of quote unquote fake news articles and all that stuff. It's totally not like that. I always talk about this. I'm sitting in class, bored as hell. And what do? I just open up Pro Wrestling Opinion and get up to date minute. Podcast. We talk about all this stuff going on, and everybody trying to get ready for, or what they call the shakeup, right? And I mean, the shakeup, pretty, like I said, again, on. Of course, we could talk about all this other stuff too going on. Another rumored about the whole Sands of Time thing, basically another, or what they call the Saudi Super Show going on. But basically, in this podcast today, we're going to kind of do a deep dive of what's going on in wrestling. Mainly, big pay-per-view coming up. We always talk about this is debated as probably like wouldn't you say it's like a big 4 pay-per-view, but now it's like a big 5 pay-per-view, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. It used to be the big 5 with King of the Ring, but they took that away, 10 years ago, maybe a little less. So, yeah, you consider Money in the Bank as one of the big ones now.
Yeah, Money in the Bank. So this is where, of course, everybody knows the ladder spots and all that stuff. Unpredictable, sometimes predictable. We'll see what happens. But we're going to basically go ahead and preview this event, talk about all the stuff that happened after Post-Mania. After that, what's going on from there, and all that stuff. I mean, you tell me, Rich, where do you think we should start with this? I mean, this card, what do you think about this whole build-up with Money in the Bank and everything following WrestleMania?
To be honest, it kind of seemed like most of this card was thrown together.
That's right.
I mean, it does.
Yeah, I agree.
It does look like a pretty stacked card, but most of these matches seem like they were just thrown together. Which we'll get into it in a few moments when we start at the pre-show and work our way up.
Yeah. I mean, I think, again, I kind of have the same feel. Of course, we'll talk about this probably later on, but there's a lot of chaos going on behind WWE and all that stuff. Specifically now that they're getting money from this.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah. But it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of this whole card seems like it was just thrown together last minute, and they're like, okay, this is what it is. That didn't pay much mind to it. Yeah, didn't pay much.
People will watch.
Yeah, and it's just same exact thing.
Start with the matches.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So I guess we'll start from pre-show.
The first match on the pre-show, which is the only match on the pre-show, it looks like. Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus the Usos. How we're gonna do the predictions? Sal will read off the prediction that Nick gave us. I'll do mine, and Sal will do his. There's gonna be no real explanations because we have a lot to cover in a short amount of time.
That's
so
right.
It's gonna be answers, and that's it. So,
well, what did Nick say? Or what did you say?
You don't have the results pulled up for him?
I think, let me see right here, one sec. It's kind of interesting. Again, folks, it's ProWrestlingOpinion.com. He actually has his whole analysis going on. So one sec, let me see right here. Where's this guy? One sec. And of course, I mean, looking at this whole card, there's a lot of different things going on. So we can kind of say, there's so much stuff going on. I'd say, let's see, one sec. Well, you talk about the first match. I mean, looking at this is kind of interesting. It's kind of like, they're putting this all thrown together. The whole SmackDown division's all, taken out and everything. Basically, there's no, good tag team and stuff like that. They kind of raided, basically, SmackDown's tag team division. The bar split up and all stuff. And, a lot of, different things are going on and stuff, Trying to see where it is.
I got his predictions. Yeah.
I got it already?
He picked Bryan and Rowan.
Bryan and Rowan to go over against the Usos. I mean, if you look at this whole thing, looking at the Usos and stuff like that, they recently just went to Raw. They're supposedly having this program with the Revival. It doesn't make sense kind of thing. Again, we'll talk about this too with the Wildcard rule. This is all stemming from the Wildcard, the bullshit superstar shakeup that we're going to talk about later. There's a lot of different things, but I think this match, I think for me, it's probably going to be the Bryan and Bryan and Rowan.
I picked Usos just for the fact it's not a tag title match.
That's right.
Next match.
Well, Usos? Just
Tony Nese versus Daivari for the Cruiserweight title. Nick picked...
Man, I honestly got to say...
Nick picked Tony Nese.
I think, I haven't paid much attention to 205 Live, but I mean, I can just say I think probably Tony Nese, as kind of like the face. Because looking at what's going on with, Buddy Murphy, they haven't had him on TV for a while and all that stuff. Most likely to try and set up something, so you never know. But I think probably it's going to be Tony Nese going over too.
Also. Next match.
Yeah, Daivari needs more
development. He does. He is talented, though.
Hey, he's getting there. He's getting there.
Next match. Samoa Joe versus Mysterio for the U.S. title. Nick picked Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe. I mean, it's interesting kind of thing what they're doing now. They brought in Dominic into the storyline, so it's kind of interesting because if you think about it, we go back way like maybe 10 years ago. Eddie Guerrero, that whole angle, the whole custody thing and everything like that.
That was almost
interesting storyline.
That storyline.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's like, damn, man. And this guy, he made his return. And Dominic, technically WWE, he was a little kid that time. Now he's actually back on WWE program, which is kind of big. I'd say Rey Mysterio.
Dominic is fucking
I think Rey Mysterio is gonna go. Yeah, he's pretty. Yeah, and he's from Landstorm School, so you gotta say, it's gonna be something big with this guy. Hopefully, they don't, fuck him up, with this whole gang and everything.
My prediction,
but of course, if you relate to someone in WWE, you'll be going.
My prediction, I gotta go with my boy Joe.
Oh, nah, man. I mean, Rey Mysterio. I think at this point he needs that U.S. title in order to become a Grand Slam champ. So I think this is a time.
All right. Next match.
Kofi
versus Owens for the WWE title. Where did Nick put? He put Kofi.
What did Nick put? Kofi retaining.
I
think now that they added Sami,
I say KO.
I think when they added Sami Zayn to this, I think KO too. I'm thinking KO also. Gotta go with my boy KO.
Next match: Miz versus Shane McMahon in a steel cage. Nick put Miz.
I think Shane, just to kind of build up this whole thing, it seems like they're trying to have the Miz be like this new star. So they're trying to have him become like this favorite. So I think Shane's gonna go over. I think.
I say Shane with the help of one of his people that he's aligning himself with.
Right. Kind of like a shenanigans. So I think it's gonna be like a result of shenanigans. Maybe someone comes out, B team comes out, screws Miz and all this stuff. So you never know. We might see that. Yeah.
Which might
next
lead
match
to a future match at the next pay-per-view Stomping Grounds, Team Miz versus Team Shane.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, you never know. Couldn't always.
This you could get because how long has this been built up for? A couple months now, right? Since Rumble.
Since the Rumble, yeah.
I can see this being a very long storyline, and it will not be a boring storyline, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's true, and I think it's also like if you add his dad into it and everything like that, the whole social media,
that's why this. To be honest, this storyline is not boring.
Yeah, it's not, and I think it's going for a certain direction to build up Miz as probably like a fan favorite. So I think it might work down. You never know.
The next match, the man Becky Lynch versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title. Nick put Charlotte for this match.
Yeah, I'd say I agree. I think Charlotte's probably going to go over because of the fact she's fighting 2 times in this night, and I think the only thing that would make sense is for Charlotte for her to win. I mean, of course, they're trying to follow her like with her dad and everything, being a 16-time world champ. Why not Flair be a 16-time women's champ? So I'd say go ahead.
I see Becky winning this match. And
Becky,
I'll explain why later.
Yeah.
Next match, Roman versus Elias. He put Elias. Wow, Nick going with the underdog in this one.
Yeah, it's the next match.
Natalya versus Dana Brooke versus Naomi versus Bayley versus Mandy Rose versus Ember Moon, Carmella versus Nikki Cross. Obviously, we're talking about the women's Money in the Bank match.
This match, I think, at this point, it's just, I think either of the Money in the Bank matches, I'm just kind of like, you know what? The pool is large. I think whoever wins. I'm just interested. Take my money. Here you go, WWE,
Do you want to know who Nick selected for this match?
What do you pick?
Dana Brooke.
So after months of frustration, it makes sense, yeah.
See, me, I'm torn between 2 people for this match, to be honest. I'm stuck between 3 people. I'm stuck between Mandy, Ember, and Nikki. In 100% honesty, I'm going Ember.
Ember, really? I mean, I'd say this. I think
for some reason, I could see them giving Mandy the contract just for the fact they're saying she's supposed to get a big push in 2019.
And of course, she said, but
I'm going Ember.
Yeah. I mean, I'm torn between Nikki Cross and Mandy Rose. Specifically, like this whole thing going on with, of course, backstage, Vince is super high on Mandy Rose. I think also Nikki Cross is becoming like a project now, basically trying to have her in the spotlight now. So I think for sure, maybe, and she's that wild card. So you never know. If she wins that contract, she might cash in that night. She might cash in later. You never know. Whereas Mandy Rose is kind of like, I think everybody has an idea who she'll cash in against, So
yeah.
But next match,
Sami Zayn versus Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin versus Ali versus Finn versus Andrade versus Randy Orton. The men's Money in the Bank. This match, Nick picked Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn. I agree. I think, Sami Zayn, I think, is probably a good pick, especially with this whole gimmick of, him being all self-righteous and everything. I'd say for me, Drew McIntyre. I really want Drew McIntyre to get over. I think everybody wants to see Drew McIntyre become champion already. Like, just give him the title. He deserves it. Like, especially after this whole thing. Like, if you look at his whole arc of his career, he started out with 3MB, doing all that stuff, being a jobber. And then he started, of course, he came in as the chosen one, went down that. And then the next thing you know, he left WWE, went to the Indies, went everywhere. Went to Glasgow, did his own thing there, went to, all over. Yeah. He did all kinds of things. Became an Impact champion, NXT, became NXT champion. What kind of what arc would it be? He just went ahead and, won Money in the Bank, that'll put him in line to become world champ, and then it'll be a big comeback. So for me, it has to be Drew McIntyre.
My heart wants to go Andrade, just for the fact I love him.
Yeah, he's
as all hell.
Yep.
But realistically, Drew.
Yeah. And I think there was some news going on about Andrade, which we'll talk about probably later on with all the stuff going on with the shakeup, Vince, and all the stuff. So we'll talk about that later on. But there's some stuff specifically interesting with Andrade too and all the stuff. But yeah, next match.
Rollins versus AJ for the Universal. Nick selected Seth. In all honesty, I don't give a fuck who wins because this is going to be a match of the night.
Yeah.
I think really, I don't care who wins this match. But if I had to pick, I would say Seth.
Yeah. I think for me, it seems like this is going to be a match where something's going to happen. And I feel like something's going to be Bray Wyatt coming out. He's probably either going to attack Seth Rollins or he's going to attack AJ Styles. Then, they can go either one of two ways. They can have someone cash in, bam, just change the title like that, change the whole picture. Or I think what they're going to do is just go ahead.
I could also see Bray injuring probably Sammy and entering himself into Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy too. That's crazy. And then, especially now, like WWE has a lot of faith in Bray, especially with this whole character he's going on, and that's all 100% him. So if they do something like that, that'll be pretty interesting. They could easily do that with like Ali, let's say, because Elimination Chamber, and basically the same kind of thing with him. He was legit injured, and they could add on to that and say he wasn't supposed to be Money Bank. Oh, he got taken out, and supposedly there was rumors going on with Ali having to push, but that didn't happen. Instead, Kofi got that push.
That was supposed to be the Kofi push that Ali was supposed to get.
That's right. And I think we always talk about this. It's kind of like, again, WWE, they don't have a continuum. They don't have like a canon, meaning they don't have anything that falls along with storylines. So we'll talk about that later on. But yeah, the next match.
The main event. Well, according to this, main event. Becky versus Lacey.
Man, this one, I think it's a similar situation. Maybe they might be setting up something the bank ladder match. Becky wins. She wins both of her matches, let's say, and she retains both titles. But then someone cashes in, and then it's like,
that's why I'm picking Lacey for this one, which Nick picked Becky for this one. I picked Lacey, but I see the winner of the women's Money in the Bank cashing in on Lacey to start a feud.
Yeah.
So I could see it could be Mandy or Ember coming over to Raw.
That's right. I think it's true, and especially with this whole Wildcard thing and everything going on, like it's just try to do this. It's but if they're gonna do it, at least do it right. I think at this point it's just if you're gonna go ahead and do this kind of stuff, just make it do away with the brand split if you're really that desperate. I think that's what Vince really wants, and there's conflicting views.
As a viewer and a member of the WWE Universe, what they should do, unify the Universal title and whatever this was it, the WWE Heavyweight title, unify both women's titles, unify both tag team titles. So you technically have the IC title on Raw, the US title on SmackDown. No, reverse that, sorry. IC title on SmackDown, US title on Raw, and you have whoever has the heavyweight title, the women's title, and the tag team titles appear on both shows.
Yeah. But I think it's also, again, I was trying to think the same thing, but then I think it's also like, they did the brand split in 2016. It really worked. And, this whole separate pay-per-views really worked. And then it for like Survivor Series, like big pay-per-views like that in WrestleMania, it made a big difference. Because it was like, added substance to the rivalries and everything and all that stuff, like the team rivalries.
Yeah, but it's too much shit going on.
Yeah.
With Superstar shakeup, with now the addition of the Wildcard rule, it's too much shit going on.
Yeah. I think it's also, again, I think there's a lot of conflict. I think us as viewers, like as members, like, viewing this kind of product and everything like that, we can smell when there's a lot of conflict. I think we knew that from the PG era, like the days like 2008, 2014 or something like that, where they had a whole PG kind of stuff and everything like that. Everybody knew there was some conflict going on there, and turned out there was going on conflict like that because the way that they booked everything, the way that everything was, just the logic behind it didn't make any sense. And then people even complained about it. Like, especially now you have wrestlers coming out and saying all this stuff. Jericho always talks about this. Bully Ray always talks about this. When you're in WWE, there's no freedom. There's no strategic freedom. There's no, leverage, nothing like that. If Vince says that's how it's going to be.
To be honest, this could lead into our next topic, which is, since you spoke of breaking out of jail, no freedom.
Yeah.
That Dean Ambrose, John Moxley promo that he did. He broke out of prison, which was a symbol of him being released from WWE.
Right. Well, then, Moxley, what do you think about this? Do you think they're teasing him to go to AEW, or is it more just him just retiring from pro wrestling altogether?
He's going to the Indies.
The Indies.
But I could see him making an appearance at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, it could happen. I mean, again, looking at it, they're teasing a lot of this. Like, speaking of, we can talk on a tangent about AEW too, because this kind of goes hand in hand with AEW. They talk about all this stuff. They have this whole series and everything, promoting it. Recently, they got a TV deal, so they got TNT, which is kind of full circle if you think about it, because almost 17 years ago, when the WCW closed its doors, of course, it was with Turner Broadcasting. Turner Broadcasting, after that, said, we're not doing nothing with wrestling. We don't want nothing to do with it. AOL merged with them. That's it. AOL said, we don't want nothing to do with wrestling. And then everybody thought, okay, that's it. That's the end of an era. TNA tried to do that shit a couple of times, whatever. Yeah, but I mean, it's smart for them. I think it's smart that they're on TNT, big network. At the same time, also they're being smart about it, which is very, very good with them. Because now they're like, we're not competing with WWE. We're not going to touch that Monday slot. We're not going to touch that Friday slot. We're not going to bother. So it's smart by them.
Have their Tuesday, and that's it.
Tuesday. So I think it's a smart move by them. But I think also being that WWE and this whole Fox deal, it's an interesting kind of dynamic going on.
No, Thursday. Sorry.
Yeah. I think as fans, we're probably more excited about this than anything because we're kind of looking at it going, holy shit, this is actually going to change. This is and Jericho even said this. You'll probably never see this again. And it probably has never happened before. Honestly, because it's
I mean, if you look at it, have you seen that roster? Sal.
and causing a lot of chaos. Of course, there's reports that Triple H was pissed off and all that stuff, and all this other stuff, So I think it's also a big, big thing right now with WWE really trying to get a grasp on everything, but really at the same time, it's also Vince's ego coming in and saying, "No, it's just my way or the highway." And I think there was also reports talking about this where writers were on the phone with some person and they were like, "Oh, there's, all this stuff is going on and everything, So it's a really, really big kind of deal. At the same time, it's kind of saying, okay, where's the direction for this company now? Is Vince really scared? Or is other stuff? Or,
the company?
And, it's again, really, really kind of like a big, big, it's a thing that you don't see in WWE constantly. It's always the same exact deal where it's holy shit, this is actually causing some kind of turmoil here. Because the ratings have been low and all that stuff, and it's causing a lot of heat, of course. As fans, we kind of see that and go, holy shit, what the hell's going on? And all this stuff.
Yeah, for real. To be honest.
One thing that really shocked me was they were saying that Andrade wasn't being pushed, and Vince told him, he's like, go speak some English. Which kind of got me going, whoa, that's some racist bullshit. This guy just went in and that shit.
As everyone knows, the guy is fucking amazing.
Yeah, he's a fucking talent, crazy. And then it's You just say
where was he from? Was he from CMLL or AAA?
I think he's from CMLL. Yeah, he was in. I think he competed all over Latin America. I think all over. So he was in. I think was it?
I couldn't remember what company he came from. I know those are the two big ones he used to be affiliated with.
Right. He was in. I think AAA. No, he was in CMLL under the name La Sombra. I think.
Yeah.
And then after that, he kind of
who
went to
covers those companies.
Really? I wonder who.
Someone that we know quite well.
Someone I think, yes, we know very, very well. I think he actually owns a website, right?
Yeah.
But not just any website.
He's the N in RSN.
Yeah. I think it's right? The, not just any Nick Lopez. The Nick Lopez.
Yeah, because you could look up the name Nick Lopez on Google, Facebook, which check us out on Facebook at RSN Podcast. You could also check us out on Twitter, RSN Podcast, Instagram at RSN Podcast. But the site we're talking about is ProWrestlingOpinion.com.
That's right.
You're welcome, Nick.
Another plug for you. Let's talk about that. And AEW is coming soon, so just stay online. Maybe you might see AEW on there too.
No.
You know?
It's not you might. It's a you will.
You will, yeah, exactly. So, yeah. But then, I mean, we talk. So, of course, we talk about this whole thing with this, you know, the whole thing. Of course, yeah. The guy said a bunch of things. He said like WWE, you know, Triple H is frustrated with Vince supposedly. Whenever like Stephanie McMahon isn't even involved anymore, it's just like mostly just Vince. And I think something about how Shane gives some suggestions, but he just doesn't want to listen. Or very rarely the ideas come on TV.
If you're not one of Vince's butt buddies, then your say means nothing.
Exactly. I think even they said at one point Bruce Pritchard, who's supposed to be like Vince's right-hand man, he keeps going to him saying things to Vince.
He's the head writer for Raw, I believe, now.
Yeah, and then it's like, you know, they fired another writer because I think he had a disagreement with Vince, and the guy was very, very pissed off because all this stuff was going on, and he just said, this is a fucked up place to work, and then, you know, he left, and they had a falling out with Vince, and then Vince just fired him. Which, again, is just like, he talks about not having an ego, he talks about not making it personal, but he just went ahead and just, you know, started doing that dumb shit, which is dumb, you know?
Well, leading to another subject with WWE, unhappy superstars.
Yeah. People asking for releases, right? And there's a bunch of names.
What do you want to start with the release? There's quite a few names.
Well, I think there's a bunch to name, right? I think we talked about Mike Bennett has been asking for a long time, isn't he?
He's been asking since post WrestleMania.
That's crazy, man. Damn.
Well,
and then who else?
The Revival X, but they got 6 months added onto their contract.
It's interesting, yeah.
Because I think it was when Dash, I think, broke his jaw.
Yeah.
And then Harper actually released. They added 2 months to his contract. Someone else got X when they released. They can't get released until November now.
That's right.
It's like,
even let's say, for example, I think what Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows also requested, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, but theirs got denied, but they're not re-signing though.
That's crazy. Luke Harper, I think he even said that. And it's kind of interesting with the process that Luke Harper did. He took it down a different route. He went ahead and actually posted it saying, I'm done with WWE. And that's when it kind of blew up. Everybody's like, oh, he's leaving WWE. And then I think at that point, they kind of said, yeah, sure.
Well,
I think
Leo Rush, he took all WWE-related stuff off his social media.
That's interesting. Damn. And then what about like Sasha? Sasha, I mean, of course, she's talking about she has her eye on AEW and all that stuff, but she's still under contract.
She's a freaking crybaby.
Oh, my God. I think at this point, all the fans see all through her bullshit, and it's like, come on, man. I mean, I think we all heard, like, all the stuff about Sasha. We talked about this in the past, I think, where I think everybody who I talked to, they said that she's a bitch and everything. She does this stuff in public. And some people say she's nice. I mean, I haven't met her personally. I think any of us have really met her. I mean, we've seen her. I think you said that you've seen her. Yeah.
I kind of I wasn't far from her, and she seemed pretty nice, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to say because there's a lot of this stuff going on, and, you know, people make these assumptions. But then it's kind of like, again, at the same time, you basically are holding up the company, saying, okay, you know what, give me this, give me that, otherwise I'm not going to work for the company. So it's kind of like what Hulk Hogan used to do. Jeff Jarrett, I think, did it at one point, and that causes heat. So it's like, really, you're just being selfish at this point. But then it's like, oh, but Brock Lesnar gets to do that. Oh, but Undertaker gets to do that. Why can't I?
Well, like, look at the two people you just mentioned.
Exactly. Look at it's like sit down and be humble. At least like, what have you really done for the business yet? Really? And it's like, come on. And it's the same as I feel. I think
company for 25 years.
But
yeah, Brock gets treated like a fucking king, but he shows up 5 times a year.
Yeah, and I think he's earned it though. I mean, the thing you got to give him credit. He's actually earned it. He's actually gone through his, he pays his dues, and he did it. Well, Sasha, her argument is always, "Oh, I started the women's revolution." Well, you're not the only one. Yeah, it's like, come on. And I guess it's just the same kind of thing. I think they talked about it before. Where
Fighting with My Family, great movie, by the way. Me and my fiance Ariel, we watched it a couple nights ago. Great movie, loved it.
Really. I mean, I haven't gotten a chance to see it, but I know Rock. Of course, The Rock had a big involvement in that. It's his whole studio, so definitely, that could be something. There was constantly.
It's a great watch, to be honest.
Really interesting. I mean, I see a lot of this stuff going on with. We talk about The Rock, right? They're saying all this stuff with people returning. So of course, they got the Saudi event coming up, the Super Show. I guess they're calling it the Super Show, Super Showdown. I guess, right? And of course,
WWE Super Showdown, yeah.
Yeah, basically this whole money thing and everything. They're bringing back a lot of big names. I think one they said was Undertaker versus Goldberg, which is like, oh my god,
that's a fucking random ass match, to be honest.
It's like no build, no nothing. And of course, I think they recently talked about Brock Lesnar getting a title shot, which is like, didn't he leave? Didn't he?
Only 3 matches on the card. It's Triple H versus Orton, the 50-man Battle Royal, Goldberg, Taker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess the Trizzo trying to add matches here and there. I don't know if the women are going to be there. We'll see what happens. If they might change it. You never know. But again, it's also.
Well, we could also talk about big debuts in other companies.
Yeah. Well, what did you hear about this whole thing with Double or Nothing? I think I
was talking about Big Michael Elkin appearing at Impact Redemption. I think was their last pay-per-view.
Shit, really? Well, there's a lot of names that went, right? RVD went out.
He went face-to-face with Brian Cage, who beat Johnny Impact for the title.
Damn.
And to be honest,
I'm hearing about Ryback, too. I heard
the past couple months, Elkin has been bulking
It's
up.
Interesting how they all these big names. Like, it's like
he lost a lot of weight, but he gained it back in muscle. He looks amazing. But what were you saying about AEW? They're getting a lot of names.
Well, I was saying the way that they were, like, of course, I know they talk about RVD coming to Impact and everything, Sabu and all that stuff.
Yeah, the way it looks, they're trying to build like an ECW faction.
Yeah,
they got
it seems like it. I'm hearing
RVD, Sandman, Sabu, Tommy Dreamer. It seems like they're trying to build a ECW faction.
Before, I think, and it was kind of like with EV and all, it was kind of like, oh, what the fuck is this? And then, of course, I'm hearing that, like, if you see RVD's work in the ring right now, especially against the newer guys, he's really doing, like, it's kind of like the same thing as before. He kind of looks old, but he's pretty good with the way he's doing it, compared to, like, let's say Kurt Angle. Kind of the same kind of reflection. Of course, I think the biggest news hearing about Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah.
Impact, man. On the map, so. Yeah, I think what we probably talk about everything, but then, of course, we gotta acknowledge some things too. Of course, Ric Flair was recently in the hospital, I think, very recently. They were saying that he had like a emergency surgery or something, where he was about to die, but I guess he's okay and everything. So best of luck to Rick. But then also, we talk about, I think, something very recently, a very unfortunate passing, Ashley Massaro, former Diva Search winner. She passed away.
Yeah, she died
at age of 39.
Suicide at 39 years old.
Yeah, I'm also hearing that it was a fake report. Supposedly, they said that the story going is kind of complex. They said that right now, they said it's just non-criminal. So that kind of just says, okay, what does that mean? You know, is it meaning that someone killed her? Did she kill herself? You know, people are bringing up all kinds of things. And also, I think it started out
suicide.
Yeah, but then I heard that supposedly the first account that posted that was Shelly Martinez. So I think she was former WWE diva. What do you call it? She was Kevin Thorne's, I think, valet or something like that. LAX's valet. She supposedly the real Shelly Martinez actually posted and said that's actually a fake account that posted it. I don't know if you know that.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. And then later on, I found out they were saying that there was something about how there was a fake account. Someone just posted it up just to conjure rumors and stuff. And they're still trying to investigate it. So,
that's interesting.
Yeah, I was like, come on, man, that's some fucked up shit. Like, someone would just post that up just to stir some bullshit. Again, I think it also just brings it back to the fact that, there's always all these news sites and everything. They think they know what's going on. Like, I think WWE, like all these stars, people say that, behind the scenes that these dirt sheets think that they know what they're talking about, but they really don't. And I think it's just coming back to the same thing. It's like you think you have an idea, like Dave Meltzer.
You know where you could go really that doesn't post bullshit things? The RSN Twitter page.
That's right. Yeah. Probably one of the most legit sites. The dirt sheet, if we can tell you that right now. You can put whatever label you wanted. So this is the N in RSN. Nick Lopez, not just any Nick Lopez. You can look up any Nick Lopez. We're talking about the Nick Lopez, who runs ProWrestlingOpinion.com.
Yeah. He runs a great wrestling site named Pro Wrestling Opinion, where if you click anything on his page, it leads you right to the RSN page of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anything that we have.
That's right. Yeah. And again, I think we can. We probably covered everything else. Let's talk about Bray. I mean, I think we should just end up with a couple things. Bray. So Bray Wyatt, this whole gimmick, this whole change of Firefly Funhouse.
I'm iffy about it because I can see. I don't know. It's just weird. Hello.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. It seems kind of weird, this gimmick. I don't know what they're trying to do with it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like it's an extension of his previous character, or is it just like pressing the reset button on him?
It seems like they just hit reset and just did a complete fucking 180 with it.
Yeah. I'm about to see how this is. Again, I think a lot of people are saying that the people who are creatively behind all this, I think, what was it? They're saying Abyss, Joseph Parks. He was actually behind this, I think, also. Who else? There's a couple people. Actually, some of the Impact guys were actually, helping Bray with the segment and everything. Actually, creating this whole.
Jeremy Borash helping him.
Yeah, Jeremy Borash could definitely help because, of course, he had his.
He helped Broken Matt.
Yeah, Broken Matt. That was like a rejuvenation of his character. So, yeah, I mean, if anybody, Jeremy Borash, definitely. Jeremy Borash, Joseph Parks. It's interesting, they said. And they said this mask cost like a lot of money. It's crazy. It took a lot of money and a lot of effort to create this stuff. And they just had to create it.
Someone in like the horror business helped him.
Yes, interesting. It's like, damn, man. Like, it shows that WWE is like a bridge for everything else, So anybody else into like horror stuff and everything like that, definitely. Or like cosmetics and everything. It's a big connection right there. I think what else? So, yeah, I think we talk about that. We heard about Alexa Bliss, right? Alexa Bliss got taken out of Money in the Bank.
Yeah, another concussion. To be honest, I think she's done.
It's heartbroken, man. It's like, come on, man, really. And if I think also we talk about
7 years old.
Yes, come on, man. Like, really, they're gonna take out Alexa? That really broke my heart. I was like, oh my god, come on, man. I know you talk about Alexa being your favorite. When I heard those news, I was like, come on, man, really? They had this whole bill. They were supposed to make her this and everything like that, and then she gets taken.
27 years old, another concussion. It's upsetting.
Come on, man. Between concussions and early deaths and everything, I think WWE is getting a lot of heat. Again, it comes back to the fact that they're a publicly traded company. They're getting threats and everything. But I think it doesn't change the fact. Like, we watch it as a product. We still, enjoy the product, I think. I think everybody can say that. I think all of us here at our Cinema Wrestling Podcast, definitely, we enjoy the product. We would like to see it get better. But, yeah. But then it's like, where's the line? What are they really going to do? How is it really going to, see from here, So I guess we'll see from time on, and all that stuff. But, yeah. I'd say what would you say would be the result of this post Money in the Bank picture? Falling Money in the Bank.
I'm not sure.
It's unpredictable, right?
Yeah.
I think after Mania, everything is just like thrown in the wind. It's like, okay, we'll see what happens.
So we say I don't know what the hell is going to happen.
Yeah, it's interesting, especially this whole season with AEW and everything being a factor. So we'll have to see. I mean, we always say this: there's a pre-WrestleMania season, then there's WrestleMania season, and then there's actual WrestleMania. So at this point, it's kind of
post.
Yeah, and we always talk about this. I think Survivor Series, I guess, would be our pre-WrestleMania season. I guess.
No, SummerSlam.
SummerSlam
is the pre. No, SummerSlam is the pre. Survivor Series is pre.
Right. That's
Royal
when
Rumble is WrestleMania season.
Right. So, I mean, it's it's a long process. How many months away is SummerSlam?
We have a whole setup.
Yeah. So, I think as fans, we kind of look at that, and that's how we kind of watch it again. That's that's just the way it is. But yeah, I mean, pretty much covered everything, like I said. So that's the Arsenal Wrestling Podcast. And yeah, like I said,
yeah, this is 2 out of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Nick runs PWO, which check him out. Which has links to all our previous podcasts, which is what's the count now? Like 150?
I think so. Yeah,
something like that. Like 150, almost 200.
Yeah, we have almost 200. I think almost about 200 videos on YouTube, and our podcast and everything like that, ranging from best and worst of WCW, ECW, all that stuff, rise and fall, gimmicks, all that stuff. Pretty much everything from that. And we still have other topics coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. Also, we're on all these other platforms. So Anchor, we're on Breaker, Radio Republic, Spotify, Android Podcast, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, you name it, we're on there. You can also check out our Instagram. So, of course, me and Rich, we co-run the Instagram page. Of course, that's where you see a lot of these birthday posts. That's all the stuff, all the stuff, tributes, and all this other stuff. Also, our Facebook page. Facebook is also there. We have all kinds of stuff there going on, same kind of thing, updates, all that other stuff. And also, we got Twitter. So, Rich runs Twitter page. We got to ask you about Twitter, though. What do you think about this whole rumor mill thing? Is it dry or is it still going? Or do you still have that tunnel?
To be honest, it's still kind of dry.
Still kind of dry, yeah. It's hard to say. And I think it's just, because everything's now in wraps. All the news are now in, I guess, it's just unpredictable because now Vince McMahon is like, the head. So they can't have it written somewhere. That's because they're scared of that. I guess we expose them now, right?
Basically.
Yeah, so that's just the way it is. But yeah, this is the Arsenal Wrestling Podcast. Check us out on all of our different platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all that other stuff. See you guys out.
See you guys.